Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to AHC Garage. My name is Mike and I got Brian right over there. We are back with another episode on EM1 restoration project.
Yeah, so this episode we're gonna go over the body work. Now what I love about this car is we removed all the dings and we don't have any major body work. We just have some straightening out to do. So what you're gonna see in this video is we got our blocks, and what our blocks are gonna do is when we spread our filler, we're gonna be able to level out that filler to make this car beautiful, nice and straight, nice and even. Now after that, what we'll do is we'll put a nice coat of primer on all the parts, and that will complete this episode. So we have a lot of work to do. We're going to remove the doors, we're going to remove the trunk and everything we can remove, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Let's get started. Alright guys, so Brian and the team went ahead and removed both doors. Now the only thing that we have to do here is go ahead and remove the door glass, the door latch, and the door checker so they can get the paint on both ends. So let's go ahead and get that done now.
With the EM1 in the body shop, we're ready to start the body work. Now, first what we're going to do is disassemble the doors. We're going to get everything off the car that we can so we can have a nice clean refinish around all those edges. So getting these doors off is going to be the first task, and getting all the stickers off, the VTEC stickers and the SI stickers in the back, that's what we were doing there. Then the first step and first process is going to be blocking it out. We're going to be using the existing paint, which is still good, as our guide to show us where our little ripples are. Now overall this car looked really straight, but we wanted to add a little bit of body filler to make sure it's 100% straight and looking really good when it goes down the road. So we blocked this all out with 180 180 grit to smooth it out as good as we could to give a good adhesion for when we laid down some of our glazing body filler. And you can see here on our quarter panel in our trunk, we're using that long block, and those long strokes are going to allow for smoother looking finishes once paint lays down. Now this is going to be a glazing body filler, which is super thin. Now we can put this right over our sanded paint if it is good paint. If it is not good paint, which we'll see later, you're gonna have to strip it down. So this is very thin. It is not a thick filler, so you have to make sure if you have any dents previous to this, you need to go ahead and remove those dents because this is not thick enough to fill it. Think of it as a thick primer that is going to go into any little tiny wave, and once we go and sand it down, it's going to be much flatter. So let's get all our body filler down. And after a good 30 minutes, it's ready to sand. Now we're using 180 grit here on the block once again. And you'll see as we're sanding that about 90% of this filler comes off, and it only remains in the very shallow areas. And we're going to take this same stance on every single part. It is a lot, but you know, blocking it out is going to really level it off, and you can't do this with a sander or anything like that because everything has to be done by hand in order to ensure that it is properly flattened out. So once again, we'll start off with cutting it down with an 80 grit, and then we'll go into a 180 grit to smooth it off. And the technique we're using is a cross hatch pattern. We're almost sanding in an X style, and this is going to make sure that that filler is really sanded uniform throughout the body panel.
We got the hood off of the car is where we're going to start our body work. Now we have Diaz going to circle the little dents that aren't so obvious. Now this whole area is a little bit wobbly, so we're going to put Bondo over here just to kind of smooth it out, a nice thin coat. And there's some little dings and dents that you might miss once you go to sand it down, so now is the time to get them. So let's start stripping this down and getting some filler on it and smoothing it completely out.
And we're getting all of our parts in filler first before we prime. Now we went over to the roof, and the roof had old paint and it was cracking. It was not a good substrate, okay, a good basis to put any filler or any paint on top, because it was just going to crack again if the bottom layer is not good. So we had to take this down to metal, and you can see it was a lot of work, but the end process was beautiful. Now if this whole car had the same paint that it had on the roof, we would have to perform the same task, but lucky for us, plus the paint was really good condition and a good basis to do some body work over. So we'll start by mixing up our DTM, which is direct to metal primer, which will protect any of the metal surfaces like the roof here and all of the other panels that are still showing metal. So we'll go ahead and get everything all primered up. And there are still a bunch more parts as we finish up on this primering that will receive some work, although the brand new parts like that fender and the front bumper cover will not need any sort of body work or primer work like this, which we'll show you in the next episode when it comes to prepping out these parts and getting them into a red primer and then eventually paint. So we will see also the body moldings, the side mirrors, the spoiler, all the accessories that really pull together and make this EM1 what it was when it rolled off the showroom floor. So we can't wait to show you that in episode number 2. For now, enjoy the finishing process of primering the trunk.
Alright guys, so Brian has just finished a couple of things in the paint booth.
Yeah,
what you got there, Brian?
Yeah, working on the next episode, which you guys will see. Now, the next episode, we're going to go ahead and take all that primer, we're going to sand it back down, and then we're going to put a red primer on there. So I'll get it ready for the red Milano red, which I'm really excited. I'm doing it right now.
So you're telling us the next episode, this entire car is going to be painted?
Yes, in pieces. The whole entire car is going to be painted. It's a lot, but I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
One of the things I like painting a car in pieces, all the edges is nice
and wrapped. Yeah, you don't have to worry about any sort of door jamb fuzziness or anything. All the edges you can wrap paint completely around, which makes for a very, very nice finish.
Guys, this wrap up for this episode. You guys like what you see, make sure you go down and subscribe on this channel.
Hey guys, thanks again for helping us rebuild our community, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you guys.